Hello, welcome to Lesson 1, Algebraic Expressions. Today you are going to learn how to create an algebraic expression. But before we begin, let's look at our key vocabulary words. Variable, a letter used to represent an unknown quantity. Constant, a value or number that never changes. Coefficient, a number multiplied by a variable. An algebraic expression has one or more variables. So what I'd like to do now is to give you an example of each one of those terms. So a variable is simply a letter. It can be any letter. It doesn't always have to be X, which is usually the most common letter that you'll see used as a variable. It could be any letter. So all of those letters are variables. They represent an unknown quantity. All right, constants. 7, 8, 9. These are all numbers. They're all constants. They will never change unless there are variables behind them. Okay? Once those numbers have a variable behind them, they can change. So now 7, 8, and 9 are known as coefficients. They are being multiplied by a variable. Okay? And an algebraic expression has one or more variables. So these guys are algebraic expressions. Okay? 7x plus 3, 8m minus 3, 9 times c. So those guys are all examples of algebraic expressions. Now I want to talk about the 4 mathematical operations. So the 4 operations in math are addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Okay? So those are our 4 basic math operations. And what we're going to do next is we're going to look at the terms or phrases that go with these math operations. All right, so addition. The phrases that you'll see that go along with addition are sum, addition, more than, greater than, increase by, altogether, in all. Subtraction. Difference, subtracted, less than, decreased by, take away, minus. Multiplication. Product, times, multiplied by, twice, double, triple. And division, quotient divided by, division, half. So those are the phrases that go along with each math operation. What I want to do now is I want to practice forming some algebraic expressions. So if I would ask you to write the algebraic expression that would go along with the quotient of m and 2. So the quotient of m and 2. So that would look like this. M divided by 2. The quotient, okay, of m and 2. Okay? So the quotient of m and 2, that's a division problem. Fractions mean to divide. Sometimes you may see that written with the backslash, or perhaps even just the division symbol. So all 3 of those methods of writing that are correct, okay? So the quotient of m and 2. All right, so let's try another one. What if I would ask you to write the algebraic expression of the product of 10 and a number, okay? The product of 10 and a number, okay? Product means to multiply. So the product of 10 and a number. So I know I'm going to be multiplying, but I do not have a variable in my verbal expression. So I have to choose one, and I'll just choose the letter H. So the product of 10 and a number. So 10 times H, okay? I could have the 10 dot H. I could have the 10 times H, okay? All 3 are correct, but this one is the best, okay? Algebra students need to get in the habit of realizing that a number in front of a variable means to multiply. So the product of 10 and a number would be 10 times H. Okay, so I hope you're following along. So far, so good. Let's do one with addition. How about the sum of a number and 7? Okay, so the sum of a number and 7. So the word sum simply means to add. So the sum of a number and 7. Again, it didn't tell me the variable, so I'm just going to choose x. So the sum of a number and 7, x plus 7. All right, so far so good. And let's try one with the word difference. Okay, the difference of W and 9, okay? The difference, I'm going to abbreviate, of W and 9. So the word difference means to subtract. So the difference of W and 9 would be represented algebraically as W minus 9, okay? W minus 9. All right, so now, if I would give you an algebraic expression, could you write it verbally? Let's try some. How about x, okay, x plus 7, but let's write that a little bit more fancy. So instead of saying x plus 7, we could simply say the sum of x and 7, okay? We could say x increased by 7, okay? What if we had, okay, m minus 10? That's simple to read it that way, but if we wanted to use our math vocabulary, we could say the difference of m and 10. We could also say m decreased by 10, okay? What if you saw this, 12x? How would you write that algebraically? Instead of just saying 12 times x, we could say the product of 12 and x. We could say x being multiplied by 12. So there are different ways that we can write algebraic expressions for math, different ways that we can write written expressions for algebraic expressions. Okay, let's take a look at our next slide. Okay, so we have some examples given, and we're going to go from a verbal expression to an algebraic expression. I'd like to do a few of these with you. So the first one, the product of 8 and a number n. So the product of 8 and a number n would simply be written as 8 times n. Okay, we were multiplying, so the product of the number 8 and n is written as 8 times n. Let's look at the next one. 9 less than a number w. 9 less than a number w. So w would go up front in our expression because it says 9 less than a number w. Okay? Let's jump down to one that's a little bit trickier. All right? 82 times the sum of q and 1. 82 times the sum of q and 1. I'm going to write that one on the board. 82 times the sum of q and 1. So what do you notice about this algebraic expression? There are two key vocabulary phrases, okay? Little words, times and sum. When there are two or more algebraic words, let's use parentheses, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and make myself a set of parentheses. Something needs to go in those parentheses. 82 times the sum of q and 1. So I'm going to be multiplying by 82, so I'm going to put him on the outside of the parentheses. And then the sum of q and 1, I would simply just put on the inside. So let's check our answer. 82 times the sum of q and 1. And it looks perfect. Okay? Let's go on and let's look at another one on our slide. How about 24 decreased by the product of 6 and q? 24 decreased by the product of 6 and q. So I'm going to write that one on the board. Let's think about this one. 24 decreased by the product of 6 and q. All right, so again, we have two math phrases in this example. So decrease by and product. So the clue that I gave to you earlier was to use parentheses when you see two or more. So I'm going to go ahead and make myself a set of parentheses. So this time it says 24 is being decreased. So 24 decreased by the product of 6 and q. Okay, so 24 decreased by the product of 6 and q. Okay, looks perfect. Hopefully you are understanding how to write algebraic expressions. Feel free to go back and look at my slides at the end of this video, and I hope you are walking away today feeling a little bit more confident in how to write algebraic expressions.